Hello, teachers and students and class. All right, please, thank you. Be seated. Find out in our last lesson. Laka.
Who changes the earth? Who changes the earth?
All right, who changes the earth? And earth is the earth's surface is changing all the time, and part of that is our contribution by humans, and some occur naturally. All right. We'll move into our new topic, teachers, which we'll be looking at is the outcome 6.4.2. And the strand is the earth and beyond, and substrand earth and its origin. Our topic for today is, right, Mr. Moon. So, what do we know about Moon? We see the moon at night. Did you do what you were asked to do? Did you ask your parents, your grandparents about some stories of the moon? Minol, do you know any stories about the moon, Minol? Did you ask your parents? Yes? No? All right. You can tell that to your friends later on. Our topic today, the moon. All right, first activity. In a groups, you will be doing a lot of talking today. So you will be discussing about the moon. We have never been to the moon, but we will talk about the moon. We have seen the moon. Freddie. Fred, come here. Please pass this to your friends. The A3 paper that I've given you, or the blank sheets of paper that I've given you, is for you to write down the following. So this is your activity question. Describe the moon as you see it at night and make a list of what you see of the moon. We've all seen the moon. Half moon, full moon, quarter moon. At night you see, what do you see the moon like? Emmanuel, tell us. What do you see when the moon is full, when the moon is shining? Emmanuel?
Changes.
Anything else? What do you think about the surface of the moon when you see it at night? So I'll give you 5 minutes to discuss with your friends. If you have any questions, you may raise your hands. Makadi ayuhulin. Just write it on the chat. What, who's going to write for you? The group. Yep. Yeah, you can either do a mind map or a web. How you did, yeah. We can discuss describing it and then just make a list of what the moon is like. So, by listing it, you're describing what the moon is. You can you can describe it during your discussion, and when you make a list of it, that means you are describing it also. So you can describe it during your discussion and list it on the paper that has been given to you. Whichever way you put it. You want to put it on a mind map, you want to make a list, or you want to write a paragraph. At least you are discussing and describing what the moon is, what it is, when you see it, what the surface is like, what do you think it is made of, or something like that. Just about the moon. Or does moon have any effect on you? When you see the moon, what happens? You feel happy, you feel what? Anything about the moon. So make a list or of a sentence, a list, something like about the moon. You don't need to write the question. Question is up there. You just make a list. You can turn it over. No need to write the question. You can just write the list. It's sometimes what? Make sure you feel that. I'll give you another 2 minutes. I'll give you another 2 minutes, then we can have a look at our work that we've done. You can have a look at the picture of the moon, and that will help you to describe or talk about the moon. One minute. All right. Let's quickly go through what the moon is about. But let's have a look at the picture of the moon. This is the picture of the moon when you see it at night. And let's look closely at its surface. Have a look at the picture on the moon, of the moon, and see. Have you listed some of those things that you see on the moon at night? We'll have one of the descriptions from each group about the moon. So we will start with this group in front, close to the board. You can go through, read through your list of what the moon is about, and give us one. Read, just read one that is that the group decides is interesting for us to share to the group.
The surface of the moon is covered in rocks and dust.
Okay, good. This group have been to the moon, huh? Rocks and dust. Oh, good. They haven't been, but they have been reading books. So, okay, good. Surface of the moon is covered in rocks and dust. Next group, please. Just one interesting one that is in your list to share to the group. One interesting description you want to share to the class. As you see the moon.
Moon has a round shape and sometimes it changes shape.
Okay. Thank you for that description. Next group. Just one interesting one that you want to share to the class from the list of your descriptions.
The moon shines at night.
Okay, always the moon shines at night. Next group, please.
The moon reflects the sunlight at night so it can shine.
Reflects. Next group, thank you for the answer, Emmanuel and the group. Okay, Minol is going to give us his group's description, one interesting description.
It has rough surface.
Ah. It has rough surface. I wonder what those rough surface is. What do you think? Thank you. Next group. One interesting one from your list?
The moon has flat areas.
The moon has flat areas. So at night when they see the moon, they see that there are flat areas. Next group, please. Carol, Fred, or who?
Moons helps animals and human beings to see night in dark place.
Okay. Helps animals and men or humans. To see at night. Okay, and we are still using that as our light for the night when it is full moon and when it shines at night. The last group, thank you very much, boys and girls.
The moon looks like it has black spots.
Looks like it has black spots. very good. Now you've given me one of your interesting description of the moon, about the moon. So let's have a look at some of that you have mentioned. Let's have a look at the next picture. Next picture is the size of the moon. Compared to the Earth, the size of the moon is smaller. It is much more smaller than the moon. So that is the size of the moon when it is in space, when we see that from space. At night we see it and we see it as it is big, but when you see it from outer space, pictures taken by astronauts, that is the size, actual size, about that size compared to our Earth. All right, the next picture. Some of you mentioned about rough surfaces and flat surfaces and dark spots. So have a look at that picture. So the dark spots you see on the surface is what it actually looks like in the picture. What do you think? I'll give you 1 minute to describe what it is and how it came to be. Okay, 1 minute. That is on the surface of the moon. What do you think it is? How do you think it came about to be? What do you think it is called? What do you think? How did it happen? Right, let's have Jason to tell us what their group have discussed about the picture of the surface of the moon. Jason? Thank you, Jason.
By the heat of the sunlight.
By heat of the sunlight, very good. Thank you for the answer. Analolo, what has your group discussed about the picture? How do you think those holes, should I say, came to be on the surface of the moon?
I think those holes came to be by plate tectonics. I think those holes came to be by plate tectonics.
Okay, very good, thank you. Right, that is the surface of the moon. And if you realize, scientists have said every time we look at the moon, we only see one side of the moon. We only see one side of the moon, not the back side of the moon, only one side of the moon. So, the moon as we see at night is only seen, the part that we see of the moon is only the front side. That is the same part that we see every time it shines. So for example, if this is the moon, that you only see the front part of this moon. You only see the front part, not the back side. You only see the front. And that is the same part that we see every time it shines at night. And the moon is made up of the holes that we see, the black spots that we see, or the shades, are craters, as seen on the surface of the picture there. These are called craters. The holes on the moon are called craters. So these craters are formed from meteors and asteroids that hit the moon some 4.5 billion years ago, about the same time the Earth was formed. So the moon was formed at the same time the Earth was formed. So it was formed in the same way from bits and pieces of what was caused from the explosion to form the Earth. And over millions of years, these meteors and asteroids crashed into the surface of the moon, creating the craters. So when you go, for example, when you go to the beach and you drop the ball or a stone, it creates, the ball sinks into the sand, so it creates this little crater. So that is how the surface of the moon appears to be. All right. But you will look at rest of the description of the moon in our few lessons, in the next few lessons. We'll conclude with a summary with some facts of the moon. So there are 3 points for you to copy down. Our keyword for today, class, is moon. Our next lesson, teachers and students, will be moon and culture. And teachers, you could need some examples or make a list of examples of effects by the moon. With that, thank you, class, receiving teachers and students, for your participation. You're welcome, thank you.